November 24th, 1944. At the 21st Bomber Command headquarters in Saipan, the air was heavy with tension. Major Robert K. Morgan, the legendary pilot of Memphis Belle, prepared to lead a new mission, this time to Tokyo. Alongside him sat Brigadier General Emmett O'Donnell, Jr., their target, the Musashino Aircraft Engine Factory. Over 100 B-29 Superfortresses would make the 3,000-mile round trip, beginning what would become the systematic destruction of Japan's war-making capability. The B-29 program was the most expensive weapons project in American history, costing more than even the atomic bomb. It was a gamble that air power alone could cripple Japan without a costly invasion. Japan's vulnerability lay in its cities, built of wood and paper, packed tight with small workshops that produced the machinery of war. To destroy the cities was to destroy the factories. General Henry Hap Arnold's 20th Air Force was a new kind of weapon, an independent bombing command that answered directly to the Joint Chiefs. Its aircraft, the Boeing B-29 Superfortress, was a pinnacle of wartime technology, pressurized, heavily armed, and able to fly above 30,000 feet. Yet despite its power, the early raids from the Marianas achieved little. High-altitude precision bombing failed against strong winds, clouds, and complex jet streams no one had predicted. By early 1945, after 14 missions and 41 aircraft lost, Japan's industry remained intact, and Arnold's patience was gone. Enter Major General Curtis E. LeMay. At just 38, LeMay was a cold, methodical tactician, an engineer who believed in efficiency over emotion. When he arrived in January 1945, he found the bombing campaign ineffective and morale-sinking. After weeks of analysis, he reached a shocking conclusion. Everything had to change. Instead of daylight precision raids from 30,000 feet, the B-29s would strike at night, at low altitude, and with incendiary weapons. Guns and armor were stripped to save weight, replaced by tons of M69 firebombs filled with sticky, burning napalm. On the night of March 9, 1945, 334 B-29s took off for Operation Meetinghouse, the first low-altitude incendiary raid on Tokyo. At 12:08 a.m., Pathfinder planes dropped magnesium markers over the city's working-class Shitamachi district. Within minutes, waves of bombers followed, saturating the area with napalm. The wind, fueled by an approaching cold front, turned hundreds of fires into a single inferno. A massive firestorm engulfed Tokyo, reaching temperatures over 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. Wooden houses vanished in seconds. The city became a furnace. By morning, 16 square miles were gone, and over 100,000 people were dead. It was the deadliest air raid in human history. The results stunned even LeMay. In 10 days of firebombing that followed, Tokyo, Nagoya, Osaka, Kobe, American bombers burned 32 square miles of urban Japan, killed more than 150,000 civilians, and left millions homeless. Yet the campaign came at a cost. Exhausted crews, overworked mechanics, and dwindling bomb supplies. Still, LeMay pressed on. By May 1945, with over 500 operational B-29s, LeMay unleashed the largest raids yet. On May 23rd and 25th, waves of up to 600 bombers struck Tokyo again, reducing another 20 square miles of the capital to ashes. Japanese defenses, short on fuel, ammunition, and trained pilots, could do little. The skies belonged to the Superfortress. As one Japanese fighter pilot later recalled, "There are too many to attack, like trying to stop a tsunami with your bare hands." By the summer of 1945, the results were devastating. 66 Japanese cities had been firebombed. 180 square miles of urban area were destroyed. Over 330,000 civilians were dead, and more than 8 million homeless. Japan's aircraft production collapsed to a tenth of its former level. Oil refining ceased completely. Small factories that supplied the military vanished in the flames. Even Japan's leaders began to despair. Former Prime Minister Prince Kono wrote, "The people are exhausted. Industry is destroyed. The B-29s have accomplished what our enemies' armies could not. By war's end, for 14 B-29s have been lost out of thousands of sorties, a relatively low 1.3% loss rate, compared to a horrific toll of earlier bombers over Europe. The campaign proved that air power alone could bring a major nation to its knees. The U.S. Strategic Bombing Survey later concluded Japan would have surrendered by November 1945 even without the atomic bomb, simply from combined effects of bombing and blockade. Yet the moral cost was immense. The deliberate targeting of civilian areas blurred the line between military and total war. LeMay himself admitted, if we'd lost the war, we'd all have been prosecuted as war criminals. Still, his campaign transformed modern warfare forever. It validated the theories of Billy Mitchell and laid the foundation for an independent U.S. Air Force in 1947. Then, in August 1945, the final evolution of the campaign arrived, the atomic bomb. The Enola Gay and Boxcar, specially modified B-29s, delivered the most destructive weapons in history to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Within a week, Japan surrendered. On September 2, 1945, as Japanese officials signed the surrender aboard the USS Missouri, 462 B-29s flew in formation over Tokyo Bay, a silent demonstration of the power that had forced peace. The B-29 Superfortress campaign against Japan had done more than win a war. It had redefined it through technology, industrial might, and ruthless adaptation. The United States proved that wars could be decided not just by armies or navies, but by the power of the skies. From the ashes of Tokyo rose a new era of warfare, one where air power would rule the modern battlefield, and the lessons